Lions fans, welcome to the Detroit Lions Podcast, the live post-game show. This is our 172nd episode, and it's the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and co-host, Mike, the ambling bastard. Welcome back to the show, my man.
Thank you, Chris. Good to be back.
Yeah,
been a while.
Yeah, good to have you. Sorry it's not under better circumstances. It was a tough game out there, huh?
Indeed, yeah. If only we could have been doing this after a similar performance to what we saw against the Patriots, eh?
Yeah.
C'est la vie, my friend. C'est la vie.
All right, well, we're going to talk about the game, a couple things that went on, players that did well, players that didn't. Have a roundtable discussion. We'll take your calls as usual. Got a great show here. Are you ready to go, Mike?
I am. Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right, a couple of quick announcements first. Make sure to check us out and help us out on Patreon. Special thanks to Dylan from...
Go on!
Oh, very nice. And, of course, our very first donor, Mathis, and Brian B. from iPrevailBand.com. New album coming out soon, one you won't want to miss. Join the Patreon crew. Get into the Slack chat. Had a very wild chat going today. Good one. Patreon.com/DetroitLionsPodcast. Patreon.com/DetroitLionsPodcast. Or you can go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com and click on the Patreon link, and we're rocking. This is the last week with no pre-show video for our Slack friends. I'm going to be live from Puerto Rico, so we're doing one more from the road, and we'll be back. So Patreon.com, don't forget, join. This is as little $1 a month, as little as $1 a month. You can join the crew and take part in all that fun. Don't forget to give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast, facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast, and of course on the Twitter machine at DET Lions Podcast and DET Lions Podcast. It's the very best place to see Mike.
With no trousers on, because they are still called trousers.
On that side of the pod, that's right. And here on YouTube, as you see us, the folks watching the live show live, youtube.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Make sure to give us a subscribe there. We need a couple more subscribers to get to that special magic number that YouTube wants to give you. And once we get there, we get all kinds of benefits for you and for us. Again, youtube.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Give us a subscribe. Hit the button to know when we go live, because we're going to be doing a lot more of that as the season goes on. Lastly, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you find us, give us those reviews. We love those 5-star reviews, and we love it when you guys tell others about us. So share us with your friends. We love to be shared. All right, let's get into this.
This is no time for a quick release. We're going deep.
All right, here it is. It is the live post-game show after a difficult loss to the Dallas Cowboys. It was a loss that never should have been, with an officiating crew that never should have been. But I mean, you can't blame them entirely for the loss. But they certainly weren't on our team. I'll say that.
No, I'd be inclined to agree with that. I think you could chalk that up to definitely. There were some questionable calls, without a doubt. I know full well we're going to be getting into the shall we say, the penalty that should not have been against Aquara, and the penalty that should have been with some clear holding on a big 3rd and long play. So that's one aspect I'd love us to get into a bit. But no, we never found our rhythm today. The Lions, they didn't fire as well as they did on all cylinders against the Pats. Simple as that.
No, they did not.
The defense spent way too long being ground down by Zeke. Frankly, let's be honest. He looking at his post-game stats. I mean, was it something like 25 carries for 150 odd yards, and he was their second longest yardage receiver with 88 yards off 4 receptions.
Yep.
Yeah, they couldn't contain him one way or the other, whether he was rushing or receiving. He was a force to be reckoned with, and we weren't able to stop him.
No, it really sucked. Frankly, it really sucked.
It was painful to watch, wasn't it?
Yes.
For one reason or another, it was so painful to watch. So especially when you knew that clock was counting down with a field goal at the end.
Yeah, I knew we scored early. I mean, you never want to say don't score or hold the ball, right? Because scores come whenever they come. But you just knew there's too much time left. They had over 2 minutes. It's an eternity in the NFL. And,
absolutely.
I mean, the way Zeke was just tearing our defense up, it was horrific. It was just horrific, man.
Well, we've been renowned for having almost non-existent run defense for far too long, and today just really highlighted that is still an ongoing issue for the Lions, isn't it?
Yeah, that's you can't have the defense on the field. I think they'll do okay in small bursts, but when they spend any kind of time on the field, they will get exposed and you will get beaten. Period. That's time of possession on offense really is a key indicator for how this team. Although, what was it? They had the majority of the time of possession in the first half, and still didn't seem to help them. So,
no, it didn't. But the other thing, if you look at how long the Dallas drives were, the amount of plays they were getting off in their drives, I mean, we were talking 13, 15 plays in some of their drives, certainly in the latter half of the game. And the rate of attrition for our defense, I mean, they were working hard. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, they weren't working particularly well, but they were working hard. There is a distinction which I think is important to draw there.
Unfortunately, it's a distinction without the difference when you look at the scoreboard, right?
Yeah, tragically so. Yeah, so yeah, that was one of the problems we had. The big problems we had was that we just kept Eddie out far too long. The offense stalled, 3 and out, couldn't get going. Run game. How much of Kerryon Johnson do you think we saw today?
Not
enough. That's not an acceptable answer.
Not enough Kerryon and far too much LeGarrette, to be honest. I like him a lot, but he's just on the field way too much. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we use him the way we do or how. I know we want to, in a way, he helps grind a defensive line down and we get a benefit out of that, but that wasn't the game we were playing today. It was like, It was just, is it Jim Bob Cooter? Is this really where we're at? And now,
see, we weren't saying this a week ago, were we?
No, we thought because he called a decent game and we schemed well, but now we come against the lowly Patriots, lowly Cowboys. I can't even talk. I'm so frustrated. The lowly Cowboys, and we didn't show up. And Wings Fan One, who was my partner in crime at the Tampa game last year, calls it here. Only 2 penalties called on the Cowboys all day, and there was plenty to freaking choose from. Straight up, I mean the Colin Kennard for holding on a run. It's the officiating was straight ass. And look, I know it's not fixed. I know in my heart of heart it's not fixed. Obviously, you can't know. It's unknowable unless you're in there. But it had every appearance of being fixed yet again here in Dallas, didn't it?
It did, yeah. The amount of holds that I was seeing going down from the Dallas players that simply weren't getting flagged.
Yeah.
And it beggars belief how if someone with my football background, and as you know full well, Chris, I don't have a massive in-depth football background. I'm a relatively recent fan. I've been doing 4 years.
Well, you just learned there wasn't a keeper in the game. That was good this summer. We went over that.
Hey, so that again,
you just learned there wasn't a keeper in the game. You learned that over the summer.
That surprised me. But when you see how high the goalposts are, you can't really blame them for not having that. That's some sort of athletic freak you need. But no, seriously, and
you can touch it with your hands. That's a good part.
Well, you can.
That helps. You were better on defense before you knew that. Let's put it that way.
Yes, indeed. Well, so I mean, the officiating, I can see holds going on, and granted, I'm looking at it from a TV angle, but you can also see the guy in the black and white stripes who's on the pitch or field, I should say, whose job it is to spot these things.
Yep.
How do you not? Simply, how do you not? That's the question.
And only 2 penalties, and there was some. And look, the hit on Dak. Let's start with that. The completely legitimate sack that got flagged. That was 100% ridiculous. That gave them a quarter of a field. It was a swing of about 23 yards.
Yep.
And when you got the refs giving you 23 yards on offense, that's a big help. That's definitely a big help. Now, CJ saying, come on, it wasn't fixed. And I said, I know it's not fixed. In my heart of hearts, I know it's not fixed. But boy, if you ever want to look at a game, at least so far this year, and look at the wild, missed calls and the bullshit calls and see them going in one direction, this is a great game to look at. It gives every inclination of looking as if it was fixed. You know what I mean? It was just horrible officiating. Horrible. That defensive hold, and then they didn't call. I don't think they called any holding on the Dallas line today, did they? Not that I know of.
Was there one towards the... No, you're right. I don't think it was a holding penalty that got called.
Yeah, it's...
No, I don't believe there was any holding, but I guarantee you I saw 3, 4 at least.
Easy. Big ones, right? Big ones.
Oh, yeah, significantly impacting the game with no doubt at all. Can we go into this bit about the acquirer, the sack that wasn't?
Yeah, please. Because that's a game changer right there.
Absolutely. I think it's worth sort of focusing on that because I'm sure it's going to be something that fellow Lions fans and listeners and viewers to this will want us to touch on. So there was no whistle on the play. The play wasn't blown dead before Dak was hit.
Right. There was absolutely no whistle on that. Simple
as that. So you play to the whistle. As a professional player, you play to the whistle. It's that simple. The referees are controlling the game, allegedly. Mm-hmm. There was no whistle prior to the hit. Dak went down and stood back up again. Mm-hmm. As a quarterback, he should bear some responsibility, in my view. If you're going down, you know you're down. You stay out the way because you're going to get hit. Mm-hmm. That's partly my take on it. Don't know if you watched the halftime show on Fox. The subject was brought up and was very, very quickly steered away from by the pundits. And that to me just made me think the whole America's team thing all over again. Oh, it's America's team. Let's not talk about that because obviously the Lions are in the wrong because the Lions are always in the wrong. But then you saw Stafford get taken down. Was it the last series of quarter 2? Yeah, it was. It was on a 1st and 10. Stafford was sacked. That, I believe, possibly would have been a roughing the passer call. That wasn't. Did you see how the angle of Stafford's neck as he was taken down?
Yes, the where it was folded in moon shaped backwards, right?
Mm.
Yeah, that wasn't a call. There's no suplex. Thank you, Samson. Also known as Josh. Yeah, he and no call, right? And it came by in the chat. You know, we have 0 roughing the passer calls in our favor. And Stafford has been folded in half all over the place. It's Scorpioned from Joe B. There you go.
Yep.
Always have the good help in the chat.
No, I can see that.
All right. Let's see. TJ Lang, that's a topic of discussion. In the chat, people are saying he sucks, and other people are standing up for him. There's 2 pieces to this. And we saw it against the Patriots. TJ Lang is still a great player. He plays great when he's on the field, but availability is becoming a real issue. Mm-hmm. And availability is half of the equation. You know, talent is the other half. You could, if Calvin Johnson could only play 2 games a year, how great is Calvin Johnson? Right? I mean,
exactly.
He doesn't bring you any value. And the thing with TJ getting hurt, it sucks, right? He's a funny guy, nice guy. Seems like he's a Detroit guy, right? Straight out of Detroit, grew up in Detroit, and loves the city. But he's getting old. He's hurt. You want him to play well. Look at Ziggy. People say Ziggy's good. He's never on the fucking field. And look how much money we're paying that guy. Jesus Christ, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Lang went out with a concussion, didn't he?
I think it was. Yeah. I didn't know if they said that it was, but he took a crack on the head. That
suspected concussion. How much of an impact do you think that had on our run game? Because I saw that being thrown around on Twitter saying our run game's gone to absolute rats since Lang went out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the line was overpowered all over the place today. They were like a sieve. Couldn't even get out of the backfield on a bunch of plays, and you aren't gonna get yards if you can't get started. So
no, 100% no. I saw some appalling attempts at blocking from Wagner at least twice. People were just stepping around him like he was a training cone, which genuinely surprised me because I hold him in much higher regard than what I saw from him at times today. I'm not saying he had a bad game throughout, but there was a couple of times when Stafford was under an awful lot of pressure. And the pressure was coming through Wagner.
Right. Let's talk about some. Let's do some before we get on any more bad kind of players. So let's talk about some good players, some highlights.
Oh,
from
yeah.
today.
Okay, cool.
We want to start with Golden Tate?
Yeah, I do want to start with Golden Tate.
All right.
Absolutely outstanding. The Yak Master, Golden Tate, I think we can call him.
Yeah.
His groundwork is unbelievable.
The power out of his little body when it's taken 3 people to take him down and he's still grinding. It's like, I don't expect that. He's shifty, he's slippery, he's got this wicked ass spin move that people miss him on all the time. But then he gets, and he just, when he puts his shoulder down, right, and he powers, he's got way more power than that little body shows. Way more power. Damn, he's great.
Absolutely, yeah. The announcers made a point. He's like he's once he's got the ball, he's like a running back with it.
Yeah.
But a shifty running back. He's good. He's the all rounder. If we'd had him 2-3 years prior to when we actually signed him, and we probably would have had to lose him because the cap space hit would be too big for us.
We could have let go of Titus a lot sooner.
Yeah. Let's go on to another player though, Kenny Golladay.
Oh, Kenny G. Let me throw the phone number out there really quick, and then we'll talk about Kenny. Is that okay? Let me do.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
All right, so you guys want to join us? Feel free to give us a call. You can call us on the Skype at Detroit Lions Podcast. It's all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast. Or if you want to use your plain old telephone, you can do that. It's 248. Oh my God, I gotta remember the number. It's 248-782-8384. 248-782-8384. I've only been saying it for almost 4 years now, and I still can't remember. I'm an idiot. So 248-782-8384. Feel free to give us a call, and we'll put you on the show here. Okay, Kenny Golladay. Let's dive in on that.
Kenny Golladay, 4 receptions, 74 yards.
That's not bad, right?
Average of, 18 and a half?
Yeah.
So there's some good numbers.
He's really turning into something, isn't he?
He is. I genuinely think his will be the next jersey that I buy.
Not
I was torn between. Well, now there's a thought. No. No, it's probably going to be a Golladay one. Is the answer?
Maybe if he would play carry on once in a while, you'd be more inclined to get a jersey.
So, carry on. I was puzzled by how he was used today.
Yeah,
we didn't see much of him. 9 carries he had throughout the game for 55 yards. I think we've still got a solid foundation for a run game.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't used to good effect today.
Hey, caller,
I just
how
don't
you
feel
doing?
like we saw enough of him.
Hello, caller?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing? What's your name, man?
Good, man. My name's Austin, calling from Lansing.
How you doing, Austin? That was a tough game today, wasn't it?
I'm doing good. Sorry, a little distracted. I'm just carrying my newborn son here while we were cheering on the Lions.
Oh, don't worry about it. You
But,
can throw him on the hip and keep moving.
But, Mike, it's good to see you again. Welcome
No,
back.
thank you very much,
Good to
Austin.
have you.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. And, of course, Chris, good to talk to you, too. Man, I guess I just need to talk to you guys to kick that toaster off the ledge because I really thought we had this one. And, man, it's just so heartbreaking because I don't know what it is. We're just like that one step off away from getting it. And, I don't know if it's like the players, the coaching, the refs. It just seems like right when we need something to happen, just one of those things falls through. And
I know, man. I'm with you.
Heartbreaking.
It really is. And it's unfortunately been the life of a Lions fan, and this I didn't expect a loss this week. I really didn't. And you're right. It doesn't, like, the Jets was an anomaly. I'm not really gonna refer to that game much, but this game, it was like we were like one step off throughout the game. I mean, we had the lead early, and it was like, okay, things are going well. But once those flags started flying, and that Dak bullshit play, it suddenly a switch was flipped, and this is a Lions tradition. I think it's not. I mean, we watch the Lions, we see it, but we see it happen to a lot of teams. When something like that happens, something so out of the ordinary, like what happened with Dak, it flusters the team, and they have a hard time pulling it back together. And I mean, the Lions of historical legend would have just crumbled. This would have been a 53-6 game, right? But they didn't fall apart like that. But they weren't able to get that edge back. And again, look, the officiating was a significant part of this game. You can't blame the officials for the loss. But you can certainly, it affects a game plan. It affects the way players play. And it just really put a shitty color on this whole thing. And then you turn around and the team just, is that why they don't get edge? Are they holding off just a little bit? They don't want to hit. I mean, there was no pressure on Dak all day, right? I mean, that was bad.
Right.
But you're right. It just felt like they're like one step short, one step shy. Jared Davis looked pretty good out there today in that you didn't see much of him except on the one play to Zeke. And, I mean, you get a linebacker playing, 30 yards, 20 yards downfield in coverage. He did fine.
I mean, and that was kind of like the story of the day. Like, we were right there to make the play. Like, Agnew was right there to make the play each time, but he was just like a step behind, or Jared was a step behind. And, and it just, and like you're saying with those calls, I felt like we could overcome them, but it was just enough to kind of take the edge off.
Yeah.
Where it just deflated us just a little bit, where we then give up another pass and then another run. And
yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if it's players, if it's coaching, if it's,
I think it's the team makeup. There's a scheme. Matt Patricia, the Belichick did it to him last year, right? Left him with a shit defense and said, make it work. And, you're the rocket scientist, you do it. And he did. And he got him to the Super Bowl with a bunch of not good players. I think that the way the draft is shaken out for next year, the defensive line, depth of talent that's going to be available, I think, hey, we got Ziggy, we got, he's coming back, we'll be okay. And then we'll fill it up. We'll fill up the tank with defensive players in the next draft and free agency, because we're going to have a ton of money available in free agency this year, right? And I think that's the plan, to bring the super talent into defense next year. And it's really showing, though. It's really hurting us this year, an inability. He's the head coach, and you saw him over there coaching the defense. He wasn't even watching the offense. Yeah, Jim Bob. God, Jim Bob, go make that work. I just hate those words; they're scary. But he's out there trying to fix that. So I don't think we have the front seven players we need. I think we're in a new scheme, and they're trying to figure it out. I see a lot of adjustments come in the offseason. I don't think the season's over by any stretch. I think it's going to be tough to make the playoffs now. I think it's going to be really tough to make the playoffs now.
Yeah.
It is, and I feel like this is a bad game on tape, too. I mean, Dallas is just pretty one-dimensional, and Zeke had like 250 yards on his own. And I just worry other teams are going to look at that and exploit it.
Yeah.
And just, it's going to make it hard for Stafford and the offense if they got to, put up that many points in order for us to have a chance.
Yeah, can you imagine what it's going to be like playing against Todd Gurley?
Oh, don't even say it, because they killed the Vikings. The Vikings, they did all right, but man, that Rams offense was so scary to watch.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for the call. Give your son a hug for me. Congratulations on the new baby, buddy.
Will do. I'll hang up and listen.
All right.
We'll listen to you guys. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Take care, Austin. All the best.
All right. So
Austin has a point that we were just that step behind, and I think we've touched on a number of different aspects to the game. That if you could have any one of those turn in our favor, this wouldn't be a 2-point loss, and he's only a 2-point loss. You said earlier, Chris, that the Lions of old would have crumbled, and this would have been a 50-some-odd thrashing. The margin between teams would have been shameful.
Yeah,
2-point loss isn't shameful, but on the back of that game, it's bloody frustrating. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah,
and you could change it. You could change any one of a number of minor things that we saw in that display, that 3-hour display of football, and the outcome would have been different.
It was hard to watch. I mean, it was like, as far as putting a product on the field or a product on TV, that was just it was really difficult to watch. There's so much. Patricia said it, I guess, in halftime. I heard him reference it, but there was so much bad football on my TV screen today from both teams. It was just ugly. It wasn't even like, an old school, rumble. It was just bad football. It wasn't fun to watch. Even when we were in the lead, it was like, oh God, what's up with this game? It wasn't entertaining.
No, and it certainly wasn't convincing that we were going to keep the lead at any point. I was waiting. Sounds horrible to say. I was waiting for us to lose it because it just didn't feel like we were in command, like we were against the Patriots. We dominated that game. It was. Man, I wish we could have done a post-game show after that game.
Yeah, me too. I'd have felt a lot better about it. Hey, caller, how you doing? What's your name?
I'm Glenn.
Hi, Glenn.
Hello, Glenn.
I just want to talk about the refereeing in that game. It was bloody dreadful. And the thing that really annoyed me is every time they miss something, the commentators. I quite like Charles Davis. I think he's an okay dude. But every time they'd miss a call, it would be, well, you can't see that at the speed of the game. Oh, it's easy to see that when it's slowed down. The referee stood right bloody in front of him. If we'd seen someone like that in the bloody Premier League, he'd be getting bloody abused, and we'd be all over the bloody telly.
You made a great point. They kept saying that. Well, we get it slowed down. That is the dumbest excuse that I've ever seen repeated multiple times for poor officiating. It was so bad. That was just pure excuse making, and I don't know if, I mean, like I said, and I have to preface this because people get nervous. I don't think it was fixed, right? But if you're looking at a game and you want confirmation bias about a football game being fixed, this is the game you watch. And the announcers are right there in on it saying, oh, well, we could watch it slow.
Well, I've only been a Lions fan about 6 odd years, but it seems every time we bloody play Dallas, it's the same story over and over again with the referees.
Yeah, there's always at least one or two big elements of the game that are impacted by the refs, isn't it?
Yeah, it drives me insane. It's you get it with other teams. You get one or two calls, but it seems every time we play Dallas, it's something with it. And how old is this? I'm not sure the ages, but how old is this freaking referee? He needs to get himself some spectacles, I think. He can't see these holds.
Yeah.
And they were happening all over the place as well, and getting passed over. Very frustrating.
All right. Well, Glenn, thanks a lot for calling, man. I'm sorry that you invested the time to get so frustrated with this team. I absolutely love this team and have been watching the same kind of thing for years. But I know it's going to turn around soon. I
love them too, but God, they're frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the abused spouse syndrome, they all say.
Yeah, we can't quit the pain.
All right, Glenn, we're gonna run. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Cheers, Glenn.
Call from unknown caller.
Yeah, unknown caller. All right, so there we are. Refs did have something that was funny against the 49ers. How we doing? We got a caller. What's your name?
This is Arthur.
Hey, Arthur, how you doing?
Yeah.
Get to hang out.
Hey, what's up, man? Hi.
Hey, Arthur.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with Arthur at training camp.
Yeah, that was a good time. This not so much.
Nah, this isn't as fun as that was. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm right now. I got to be honest. I've got no juice, so I'm gonna try to get this to go here. Man, it's just so frustrating. I mean, this whole thing with. I want to know if it's just me here. Okay. I feel like, and I watch other teams. I try to pay attention to the rest of the league. I do a pretty good job of that. And I don't know if anybody feels like this, but I feel like when our offense, if I could sum it up, I can't quite put my finger on it. Well, shitty play calling, but we all know that. But I mean, it just seems like say if you had to, you stalled out in your car and you have to push it, you start pushing it and then it starts going, it gets easier. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're always at the starting point of pushing the car. Like we're never, it's always like every time the play's over, it's just like a complete reset. There's no fluidity to this offense at all.
Yep.
There's a penalty or there's
do you
somebody's
feel
hurt.
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always uphill. It's always uphill.
Yeah.
It's just like, even with this guy's play calling, it's like, I feel like, and last week was the first time that I really felt like, okay, we have some good coaching. Like, this was some good coaching. I knew that the JVC stuff was a little fool's gold, but man, this guy, it's just, if anything happens right with the offense, it's our players. I never feel like, wow, that was really, once in a while, like a play or two, but like a game, no, it never happens. We never scheme right.
We did against the Patriots. That was
yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, that was like
great feel, man. It's like it's in there, right? You saw great players play well against some really, really good players. I mean, we shut down Tom Brady and good offense. You look at them today; they're just smoking the Miami Dolphins. It's we can do it. We have the players. We have the ability. I know people saying don't blame the refs. Look, we're not blaming the refs for the loss. But the officiating was absolute shit. And there is a lot to be said to flow, just like you said, Arthur. The flow of the game and this kind of ticky-tacky shit and inconsistent shit really leaves the players guessing at what they can and can't do on the field.
You know what I got to say about that, Chris? I'm so tired of people in there, especially, we're all Twitter guys, right? So let's just say it. Okay, this authoritative shit all the time. Hey, guys, don't... Like, nobody's sitting here saying, nobody thinks, we might say it when we're pissed or something. Okay, newsflash, everybody. We don't think that the refs actually have it out for the Lions. Nobody's really saying that, okay? Regardless, that it's when you have a discrepancy, we sucked today. We didn't play well today. But that doesn't take away the fact that, just like Mike was saying to start the thing, look, man, it goes both ways. Okay, I'm going to sit here and say, yeah, we were holding on those plays, on most of them anyhow. Yeah, we were guilty of those penalties. You can't sit here and say that the Cowboys were doing the same thing, especially on that Harold. That was a huge fucking play, man. When Harold just got molested on the edge like that, that was a huge play. That was a third down play. They don't get that fourth down. It's the plays. They don't get that touchdown without that play.
That's right.
So I mean, just it has to go both ways, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're not wrong. And I'm going to say that this week isn't there, but I've been sliding this up in under the camera here. We got the Detroit Lions toaster prop in here. It's still in the box. It's not ready to jump in the tub yet. And I got to give props to Peter Von Panda. He sent this to us. But keep your toasters handy. Keep your toasters handy. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, this is what I want to say. What? Can we quit pussyfooting around with Kerryon Johnson, please?
Yes.
I mean, can we just quit? I mean, Jesus. I mean, enough already. I mean, everybody can see it. This guy is really good. I'm not saying give the guy 40 touches a game. I don't think anybody is.
Yeah.
But for God's sakes, for a quarter and a half of time, he doesn't see the fucking ball. Come on.
And
this is ridiculous.
You saw a lot in the few times we saw him in this game. You saw some key pieces. He's slippery as hell, like we've always known and we've always said. Kerryon Johnson can move, can find a hole. What was his first run in the game? He slid through like he made himself skinny as hell, right, and zipped through there. And then what was it? Heath that he put out? I mean, he put his shoulder down.
Ran his ass over.
Right. And I look at him and I say he's not that big of a guy, right? I mean, he's a fine-sized football player, but he's not a big running back, right? You seeing him next to Blunt, and you're like, Jolly Green Giant, Jack, and the Beanstalk, right? But he put Heath down. He has power that is, I don't know where it's coming from, but it's awesome.
He reminds me of A.J. Green like that. A.J. Green looks like a slight-built guy, but that he's a strong receiver. He's a real strong receiver. He doesn't go down easy. He's real strong, just physically strong. And I just think that's kind of the way Kerryon is. But I'm going to let you go, guys. I'm going to listen in.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling, Arthur.
Take care, Arthur. Cheers.
All right. So, hey, really quick, I do got to touch on this, this spectacular toaster from Peter Von Panda, and make sure to check him out. It's
quite something, isn't it?
Yeah. He does all kinds of reviews. You may find a toaster review if you go to youtube.com/Peter Von Panda. He's got some great stuff there. Funny guy, absolutely hilarious. Make sure you check his stuff out. Also, if you go there and you see one of those toasters, you're like, damn, that's some wicked ass toast. You know how to get it, right? Do you know how to get it? I'll tell you how to get it. Oh, yeah. Go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. And then you get yourself on the shop link. It'll take you to Fanatics. You get the toaster. You can get jersey. You can get anything you want. God, I thought I had a mini stroke there for a second. Get all your Lions gear. It's a great way to support the show. They give us a little kickback. DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Hit the shop link for Amazon, Fanatics, SeatGeek, all that stuff. And they help us out. You never pay more, but it's a great way to help us out doing something we do anyway. The toaster for reals. This is going to become more than just this is just the start. This is going to become an integral part of the show, as will the toast that comes out of it. All right. What say you on Jamal Agnew?
Where to begin? I like Jamal Agnew as a returner. Mm-hmm. The end. I'm not sure. Today, I'm trying to think, was there anything good about his game today? Because he mainly didn't do very well.
No, he didn't. Hey, caller, did you want to talk about
with one exception, Jamal Agnew?
Yeah, I would love to talk about Jamal Agnew.
All right.
I thought he did a great job, on offense coming around the corner.
Yeah, that was the jet sweep. That was beautiful. Yeah. That was beautiful.
Well, he can't cover anybody.
No. I think we found a role for him, and it's not as a cornerback.
Yeah.
Returner / running back all day.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The main thing I wanted to call and talk about is, Lions fans need to relax. The Matt Patricia era has just begun. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bill Belichick went 0-4 his first season with the Patriots. 5-11 altogether. Lions fans, I hate to break it to you, this is going to be a rough season. But you know what? It's going to be worth it in the long run. I mean, the mentality of this team is completely different. We're running towards the ball. We're flying towards the ball. I love what I saw out of JD today. Did a great job, but Lions, we just need to be patient.
Yes, 100%. You're absolutely right. And boy, it's hard to hear, right? The idea that it's going to be a rough year, but this team, if we think about it, this team has improved. I mean, the improvement from the San Francisco game to the Patriots game was just massive. We did not expect this at all, right? I mean, we wanted to win, but we didn't expect the win that we got there. That was an absolutely complete game. That was the kind of team that we really, really wanted to believe we had and have all the time. It looks like maybe they regressed a little, but frankly, they didn't play absolutely horribly today. Right, it was a 2-point loss in Dallas. You look at the line in Vegas; you always get 3 points for being at home, on top of whatever else is going on. It wasn't absolutely horrible. They were in the game to the very end. It wasn't some massive last-second comeback. This was and multiple required touchdowns to be in the game. This is a team that took one on the chin a couple times as far as adversity and reacted well and played well, but just not quite good enough to win. There's going to be some heartbreakers this year, but they I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing Peter in the chat saying the Lions are too much of a big play team, and he feels like the Bears are more balanced. I feel like we're more balanced. Not today, but I feel like we're a pretty balanced team. We just have to be able to execute.
Yes, exactly. We struggled today.
Well, I'm gonna hang up and listen, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's good. It's definitely something we need to explore. The idea of maybe this team is not a, it's going to be a long season, right? We have to think about that as a possibility. I don't think it's going to be maybe as bad as he said it, but it's definitely time to start thinking about what does that mean and what does the season mean and the performance mean for this team.
Yeah, I think there's an element of reality bites when it comes to, yes, we have a rookie head coach. It's a very valid point. Do we know, Chris, do you know rookie head coaches with winning records in their first season?
I don't know off the top of my head.
No. Okie doke. See, we do have a rookie head coach. We are not in the best of positions as regards injuries at key places anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You said earlier on playoffs would be a challenge. I have to say, I'm starting to think if we... Okay, this wasn't the Lions that we saw in week 1 and week 2. It was a distinct improvement over that.
For sure.
But,
yeah, absolutely.
But we didn't achieve what we did against the Pats. And I think it was Arthur that made the point about fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
It felt stuttery, if you know what I mean, in terms of getting any sort of rhythm going. And then there was one particular series, which I think was in the third quarter, where we just tripped ourselves up with flag after flag after flag. Because obviously we draw penalties when we're playing Dallas. It was the one where I think we had Decker was called for a hold. There was a neutral zone infraction. Was that all in the same series? Maybe not. But yeah, very frustrating.
Yeah. I'm not worried long term, for
You're
sure.
not?
But
when you say long term, are you talking for the rest of this season or beyond this season?
no, I think we'll be competitive for the rest of the season. I think it's going to be hard to be a playoff team this year. My 10-6 is starting to lean a lot more towards 8-8, and like Joe B is saying, right, we're changing a culture, not just a team. And I just heard,
Yep.
I don't remember where I heard it, but that's exactly it. And you can't understate what that means. Absolutely everything is being changed in the Lions organization, the team, the way they do things, how they eat, every single thing. And it takes time. It takes time to get back into that and be able to deal. And we're doing better than we were. So
Yes,
we'll go
indeed
from
we
there.
are.
We'll see what we can do. Got a caller here. Hey, caller, what's your name, man?
Hey, it's Tony.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
What's going on, man? Just trying to get over this loss right now, man. It's kind of tough pill to swallow.
More beer will get it down. More beer will help that pill.
Yeah, well, for me, even though they're not a division rival, the Cowboys are just one of those teams that I really want to beat.
I hate them.
I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, so the Cowboys are hated where I'm from.
Yeah.
I'm a Lions fan, so I've kind of adopted that anti-Dallas mentality, and it seems like every time we play in Dallas, it's always some kind of something screwy happens with the refs, or it's always a controversial finish. So
Yeah.
really hoping to get this one.
Yeah.
But one thing I took away from this, the one positive I took away from this, was, oh my God, Kenny Golladay, man, that guy is going to be a hell of a player for us.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Yeah, he's
He made some great catches.
Why is he not on the field more? Why is he not on the field?
No.
That's the thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems like it's a common thing for the Lions over the years. At least what I've noticed is like when we have success with something, we stop using the thing that's given us success. Like Kerryon Johnson. I mean, like you said earlier, do I want him to get 40 carries a game? No, but 9 carries. He was off the field for a whole quarter. You know what I mean? He was killing it today.
And I mean, we started out. He was on the field and he ripped it. I mean, right out of the gate, man. And it's like, right.
32-yarder.
And we went right back to running blunt. It's like, Jim Bob, man, because it worked last week, it isn't necessarily going to work this week, especially because they just saw it work. They're going to scheme for that. Do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more point I want to make, man. TJ Lang, man, what do you think is going to happen with TJ Lang over the next season or so? Because I like the guy and he looks great when we're in there, but the guy just can't stay healthy.
No.
I guess today was a concussion, right? It wasn't his back today.
Yeah, this one wasn't.
This guy just can't stay on the field.
This one was one of those ones. It's not his fault, right? But like we said, man, it's all about availability, and it's two things: it's talent and availability. Like we said, if Calvin Johnson could only play two games a season for us, who wants Calvin Johnson?
Yeah,
right. And it's not enough.
Exactly.
You're not going to put that money out there for that. And that's one of the real tough parts because, like you said, I love TJ Lang. He's got a great personality. He's a Detroit guy. He's funny. And I mean, him getting a concussion today, that kind of luck. I mean, that's actually the kind of luck we had all game. The 2 fumbles they dropped, we didn't get either one of them. We even had a chance at them, right? Nothing bounced our way today. It just was frustrating like that. But TJ's the same thing. I think he's a casualty right now of bad luck, and hopefully he can get healthy and stay healthy. But I don't know how long he hangs around if he can't get on the field. Same with Ziggy. I don't think he's going to be around. He can't get on the field. He's not with it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man, because like I said, he's a heck of a player. I love having him on the team, but, you know, it's just, man, you know, you just can't use it. Seems like it's always one thing after another, which, like you said, that's fair. It's not his fault, but, man, I just would like to see him on the field more, you know?
And that's the hard part about football. And you know, you love your players. You know, there's the people side, and then there's the game/business side.
Business side.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know what to do. I wish he got the money if you buy a Lang jersey, right? I'd buy a Lang jersey and then say, hey, we gotta let you go because you can't make it to the field. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing where my head's at with him. But.
I don't want to hold up your show. I just want to say one more thing, and I'll get off. Look, going in next week, Packers. Where do you think we stand going against the Packers at home next week? What do you think?
I think we beat them. I honestly, straight up, think we beat the Packers.
Yeah.
I think we're built for the division.
Too.
I think we're built for the division, and we're going to do well this year in the division. Chicago's.
I hope so, man.
I'm worried about.
I hope so, man.
About Mac.
Well,
Leo Mack is the guy that scares me.
Just like I feel like a lot of these teams, well, maybe not the Vikings, but a lot of these teams, I feel like with like the Packers and the Bears, and the Bears are a little more well-rounded now, but like the Packers, you know, it's just like this week. You know, you gotta stop one guy. We couldn't do that this week, so I'm hoping next week we can do that. Stop number 12.
Yeah.
So
we can.
Anyway,
we can.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, great show. I just thanks for letting me call in, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot for calling, man.
All right.
Cheers, Tony.
All right, you can give us a call, 248-782-8384. That's 248-782-8384 if you'd like to join. Oh, we got someone joining right now. Let's bring them on.
Awesome.
Hey, caller, what's your name? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? This is Finney.
Hey, Finney, what's up?
Hey, not too much, man. Just wondering what you guys thought about Jamal Agnew playing in the backfield. Do you guys see that as sort of a promising sort of situation going forward?
I like him better on our offense than I do on our defense. I think he, you know, the Tate end around kind of play is one where he can execute well. The problem is anytime he's in the game, you know you're doing an end around at this point now, right? Because it's the only thing
That's a good point.
He can do. It's kind of like Riddick, you know, you get this 1 or 2 trick pony, and then it just makes it that much easier to defend. So I don't think he can turn into a wide receiver. So I'm not sure what we do with him. He's a great special teams returner, but he's not a good cornerback.
No, absolutely not. Based on what we saw today, I think he has an interesting bit of versatility to the offense, though. If that could, the one problem you get though is obviously if you start putting him in the backfield on offense, and all of a sudden he becomes the guy to watch. So he's sort of conspicuous by his rare presence. But it was really nice to see that variation on the offense, something a little bit different, and that he executed as well as he did.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
So what do you think about? Go ahead, man. Sorry.
Well,
go
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask what you thought about the Packers, and then tell us what you think about the Packers, then hit into what you were going to say. Sorry about stepping on you there.
Well, the Packers, I mean, they are not as concerning as they usually are, at least this season, I think. But they did. I mean, they had their way with the Bills, but I feel like everybody has their way with the Bills, so that's not something that's too concerning. I'm more concerned about the Bears, man. I don't know what that's going to look like for the rest of the season. Mac is just destroying teams, and so just not a good situation to have him in our division. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting kind of rest of the season. Like you guys said, I mean, we really, like you said, I think we're just trying to get the long game figured out more so than necessarily this season.
Yeah, I think that's it. The long view is the one we got to hold, and the difference I think now versus years past is you can see this organization has competent people in there that are making competent decisions, both personnel selection decisions and the way they're changing some of the things the way they've been done because they haven't worked, right? And we've got people who've won here before. And that I think that's really important. So we'll see. It's definitely a long view thing, but like if we're having this, we have to take a long view conversation in 3 years. This team very well could be in danger of not selling out all season long. Because this is people are really getting fed up with this stuff. And again, I mean, it's the play, it's the team, it's how they've gone. You can say, people will say, "Oh, it's not the ref's fault." And it wasn't the ref's fault we lost, but it was one more thing. Just like the balls bouncing today, when the two fumbles, neither one of them bounced in our direction. You can't call that. We didn't lose the game because of that, but bounces of balls change games. All those damn things just affected
they just kind of
nothing
seem to add
went
up.
our way, right?
Yeah, it's true. Well, one last thing I just wanted to say was, I don't know about you guys, but Galladay kind of reminded me of another guy on this team a couple of years ago. Probably a 81 light, but I mean he was looking pretty good, stretching himself out there, making some plays.
Yeah. Jiggly Scrub is making a good point here. Let me get your take on it. He says he'd almost been okay trading 2 firsts for Mac when you consider that we used first round picks on someone like Jared Davis, and he said I'd rather have 1 Mac than 2 Davises.
Oh man, I agree. There's no doubt. I mean, Davis, he's a high character guy, but man, I would rather have someone that's just dominating their position. And Mac, there's no doubt about it. We can all see what he's doing.
DeAndre
We're
Levy
really missing that sort of.
didn't come out playing awesome early, and he came into his own. I just hope that Davis kind of grows the same way. Joe's talking about it. He played a great game today. Still mistakes, right? I mean, you think about it. You have him in coverage and on that last throw that lost us the game. You get a linebacker in coverage. What was it, 20, 25 yards down the field against a running back, right? I mean, that's obviously a weak point for any linebacker to be in coverage there. And he was there. He was there, and he made the tackle at least. I mean, I don't think I guess he could have played it better, but he played it well, right? He's been okay. He's definitely taken a step forward this year post-Jets game. But, he could grow into his own. He could become a DeAndre Levy. And, in next year, if his game is elevated even more, that whole Jared Davis talk is going to be different. I knew with Ebron, I just knew he wasn't going to work in Detroit. I knew he wasn't gonna grow. I still think Davis can fit into this role, and it has a lot to do with his attitude and the way he approaches the game.
I agree with you. I agree. I can definitely, I definitely appreciate that point. Well, speaking of another guy who's probably not getting much play nowadays, what do you think about Abdullah's future in Detroit?
I don't know that he's going to see the field barring injury, and then it's interesting because if no one's going to trade for him, I'd almost be willing to find somebody else, get some kind of defensive person on the roster and start getting them up to speed, a defensive line player. I don't know who. Is Hankins still available? See if Riz's head exploded off in the distance. No, I don't know. We need somebody and something. And if Abdullah's not going to see the field, I can't see paying him or keeping him on the roster. No. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Well, thank you guys. Really do appreciate you guys.
Right.
Keep doing your show. You guys are killing it.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot for calling.
Cheers, Vinny. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers, bud. All right. Well, there we go. We'll throw the number out here one more time. We like to keep these to about an hour, so we're getting there. 248-782-8384. So you want to talk about Kenny Galladay? We talked about him a little bit. He looked good out there. Where were we? We're on Agnew. You didn't get to weigh in too much on Agnew, Mike. What do you think?
No, I didn't really. But I think
We got another caller, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Before you get started.
Well, hey, no, I can hop off. You guys are about to hop on a subject. I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's great. It was actually funnier to cut him off.
No. I can cut off and start again and cut off and start again.
Oh, look at you.
All right, cool.
How you doing, man? What's your name?
My name's Alex. I'm over in New York now. But watching this game, I'm not the most well-versed as far as, schemes go and everything like that. I just yell at the TV when my boys aren't winning.
There you go. That's the best way to play, I think, anymore.
But it's just like looking how the offenses were at each other. It just felt like every time we had the ball, we had to fight for every single inch. And even in the red zone, we fought for every single inch. And then we see these little flutter plays. They just kind of like throw the ball in the air. It just floats a little bit. And, some jag off with a fucking star on his back catches it and just slowly kind of saunters on. And I get they have Ezekiel Elliott, which is just a ram, but, like, it just feels odd that we've never gotten that, like, nice floating little corner. Even when we had Megatron, he had to jump 12 feet in the air and grab it. We just never had that. I don't know if that's not part of our offensive to kind of lead everyone to the other side. But it's just something that's just weird that it's always this never-ending fight. And then when we're on the red zone defense, they've got a guy wide open.
Yeah.
And I could be watching this game completely wrong, or I might be smoking a little too much, but I've just felt like.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was a hard game to watch. Just from Arthur talked about flow. That's one thing you like when you're watching a football game. You like the continuous stream of action. You like to see first down, second down, third down, and then whatever happens, first down, second down, first down, third down, whatever. But you like to see that grind. You like to see the kind of it's almost like a boxing match unfold, right? You like to see the plays unfold, and every time one of those yellow flags pops out, it stops everything, it wrecks everything. And part of play calling is getting into your opponent's head, and if you let them clear their head every time or between every other play, you don't get to do anything. And then now you're just basically throwing darts at a playbook and hoping you pick the play that works against what they're putting on the field. It doesn't work. And that lack of flow in this game, Arthur made a great point on that. And I think that was a key part of it. And the refs piece, they played their part as well. So
yeah,
just makes for a tough product to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it was so good to see Galladay really start catching this momentum. I mean, my buddy back in Chicago, he went to high school with the kid. And it was just funny to see him kind of rise from the ranks. And we've always called him that boy from Illinois, and he's just been killing it ever since. And it's good to see us, feel free to steal it, man. But, yeah, it's good to see a +6
Probably will.
That boy from Illinois. Yeah, no, he's great, man. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for calling, dude. I appreciate it,
I'll let
man.
you guys into Galladay. Hey, no, I appreciate you guys. You've been talking me off a lot of edges and a lot of toasters, so I appreciate the positivity you guys always have.
Well, thanks, man. All
right, you have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers, dude.
I think we've got another caller here. Mike,
cool.
You got to hold on to that thought. Hey, caller, what's your name?
Sorry, I'll let it keep forming. It's fine.
Hey, caller, what's your name?
Hey, how's it going? It's Mike, guys.
Hey, Mike, how's it going? You okay? You sound a little like the game got to you a little bit. Oh, I think we're losing him.
I don't think we lost him.
We're losing you a little bit.
Can
there.
You hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit down because of the game. Every Sunday, it's sort of the same story. But the one point I wanted to make real quick was that we talk about players who have great careers outside of this team, and then they come here and then they get lionized, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to, it's one thing if like over the last 5 to 10 years we're a really terrible team, but it's not that. We all know we're very well acquainted with all the random bounces that go the wrong way, the refs like making egregious calls against us. The whole litany of things, right? If someone ever made a documentary, it'd be the most depressing documentary ever. But if it's happening for like 30 to 40 years, And I know people want to immediately talk about the ownership. That's one thing. But I think there is, and I don't want, people always talk about also the culture of the team. It's less even that, like, because people have come in here, they've cleaned house, like, yep, we're turning over a new leaf. But there is just some bad juju around this team. And anytime something goes wrong, it's immediately like, you can tell the players are deflated, the fans are deflated, and if Martha can see anything, she's probably deflated too, up in the box. So I'm not saying we need an exorcism, but we need something because there's some bad juju around the team.
Start wearing garlic necklaces. You know what? We might be able to do something with that. For home games, start just putting garlic around the field. You know, it's funny. But, we talked about that the first time we talked to Brandstetter. He was talking about just how outrageous some of the things that have happened to this team. The guy, I got a hockey player's name stuck in my head. I can't remember the player's name, but was out mowing his lawn and got hit by a car and killed. I mean, it's like, how did things like this happen to a team over and over and over again? It's just like, and it's just, you know, it's from bounces like this, calls like this, to guys getting run over in the front lawn. I mean, it's the whole slew. There's just not a break to be caught anywhere, and I just don't understand it. So it's got to change, right? Everything has to regress to the mean. That's where, like, I really am not typically a superstitious guy, and I know things regress to the mean, and there's a point. I mean, we've got probably a 50-year Super Bowl run coming up here that we've got it all in the bank, man. Right? I mean, eventually, if you flip the quarter enough times, the heads and tails will be equal, right?
Well,
oh, I'm sorry, a shilling, Mike.
That is, yeah, and I think that is the case. The only thing I would just add is that that only works if the quarter is perfectly balanced in terms of weight on both sides. If there's something structurally wrong with the way the league handles Lions games, I actually question, from an NFL's perspective, what is their incentive in having a good Lions team? Because we're coming to the games regardless. And then furthermore, it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy where we're like the guy in, what's it called? The Da Vinci Code, who's like flagellating himself, like, regardless of like what's happening with the team. Even if we lose, we're like, oh, we're coming back next Sunday. It doesn't matter. So they're like, let's keep the narrative going. Let's keep screwing them over and see how much they'll take.
It's true, man. I've spent so much money around this damn team. I mean, it's just like, what am I doing? What kind of an idiot am I? It'll regress to the mean. I know it. I know we're coming back. It's gonna be fine. Oh man, yeah, Andrusek. Thank you very much, old school warrior. Guys. Yeah, hey, thanks a lot, caller. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was Andrusek. I was thinking Andrew Chuck.
Okay.
I was in hockey. Thank you very much.
What a way to go.
That's the guy that was mowing his lawn. Is it.
So yeah, quickly, Agnew.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, no. Good returner. Couldn't be a running back. Let's not keep him as a cornerback, please.
You don't think so? All right, yeah, he's
Dude,
a great.
You genuinely took me by surprise, and I was thinking, geez, did I miss something? No.
Oh man.
No. I mean, no, he did not perform well in that role today. I have to say, we've talked about the outlook for the rest of this season and the outlook going beyond the season. I remain optimistic. I really do. I know I've sort of grumbled a fair bit throughout this show about what I think has gone wrong. Haven't even really talked about the lack of pass rush yet. Maybe we'll save that for a bit later.
That was a key failure, I think, for this game, is the lack of pass ruch. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't believe we didn't talk about that. Yep, go ahead.
No, we didn't. But I'll park that for a moment. I have to say, I even though we're 1-3, feels uncomfortable even saying that at this stage of the season, especially coming off the back of that win we saw last week. I have to say, I do remain optimistic for not necessarily this season as a playoff contender. I think 8-8 is still within the realms of possibility. No, you put your toaster away, my dude. Won't even work on my voltage.
It works better in the bathtub with your voltage.
You know what? You're probably right.
It would probably work in the whole hot tub. You can do a multi deal.
Yeah,
Good.
Fun
for the whole family.
I could corral all the Lions fans of Nottinghamshire into my mate's hot tub. Just launch that thing from a height. It's spectacular. But no, we've got a rookie head coach.
Mm-hmm.
We're not playing as bad football as we saw in week 1 and week 2. I don't see us being. Do I? I don't want to say I don't see us being a playoff contender, even though I kind of feel that way, because I feel like I'm giving up on the season way too early for that. There's so much that can happen to the Lions and any other team that we're likely to face, including our divisional rivals. There's still a lot of football to be played this season. But even beyond this season, I feel like Bob Quinn has been called into question. I still have faith in Bob Quinn.
Yeah,
Matt Patricia's the man for the head coach job for us at the moment. He's in his rookie year. You make mistakes, you learn from them, you move on. As long as you don't keep repeating them, I don't have a problem with that per se.
And, the thing about Bob Quinn, people have been down on some of his picks. They're by far, across the board, better picks than Mayhew had in his best years.
Yep.
And he isn't picking first overall, right?
No.
So,
no. And free agency moves have been pretty good as well. Some of the guys we picked up in free agency have been absolutely solid. So, this season to me is still very much up in the air as to how we're gonna see it out. I'm really looking forward to seeing it unfold, though. I didn't get to answer about the Packers earlier either.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I'm thinking home field advantage will play into this. It's going to be tight. I think we're going to see a similar game to what we saw today in terms of scoreline. It's going to be a narrow margin, is my thinking. But a Lions win at home against Green Bay.
Yeah.
I hope, because one of my colleagues at work is a Packers fan, and I would love to lord it over him on Monday morning. So we'll see.
Oh, man.
We'll see.
All right. For the folks in the chat, I gave you a link, and you just search up toaster, and you can get yourself a nice Detroit Lions toaster and join the hot tub party. Hot tub time machine.
Do you want to talk a bit more about the pass rush or the lack thereof?
Let's hit that really quick.
Just briefly, we didn't have one.
No,
we needed one desperately.
That in the
Devin
end
Kennard
killed us. Absolutely killed us in the end. That last drive. Fine. Jared Davis is in coverage on Zeke Elliott. Not supposed to have safety help, all that kind of stuff. But never was there anything even close to threatening Dak. And you can't give any quarterback in the NFL that kind of time to throw the ball, because they'll tear you apart. They'll absolutely tear you apart.
100%. Big gap for us, definitely. But again, it's one of those things we said earlier on. There's so many little bits and pieces, some big bits and pieces. If you could turn one of those around, it wouldn't be a 2-point deficit at the end of the game.
No. You are correct, sir. All right. Well, with that, let's call it a show. We got our hour in. We got more than an hour. Man, we give these guys so much, don't we? We're givers. You always say you're a grower, though. But anyway, look, remember, the show needs your involvement. Use the comments and subreddit to give us your feedback. Love that feedback, and it's very, very helpful. Also, don't forget to rate us and give us those 5 stars on the podcast aggregators, wherever you find us. Also, patreon.com/DetroitLionsPodcast, patreon.com/DetroitLionsPodcast. As little as $1 a month gets you signed up for all kinds of fun, Slack chat, all the other stuff. It's a good time there. Don't forget about us on Facebook either. Facebook.com/TheDetroitLionsPodcast, Facebook.com/TheDetroitLionsPodcast, and follow us on the Twitter at DETLionsPodcast. DETLionsPodcast. It's the very best place to see Mike.
With no pants on, just for you, Chris.
Thank you. Wait, that's for me. Oh.
Just for you, my friend. That came out so much worse than I thought it would.
All right. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast so we can come in your little box automatically. We will be coming to you again Tuesday night, Wednesday morning with our next podcast. I'll be in Puerto Rico this time, so it should be exciting. Thank you for tuning in, and we're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions podcast. It's your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection.
Hey, Dean Blandino here, and I can tell you unequivocally that call was 100% wrong.
That's bullshit.
That's the bullshit. All right. Hey, all you folks tuned in live, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, all that kind of stuff. You guys are the best.
Yeah.
And
thank you for the callers as well.
Yeah, great calls this week, man. You guys are the best. And we'll talk soon. We'll be back again next week. The only time that we foresee not doing a post-game show now is Thanksgiving. I'm traveling again that week, but I'm going to the game, and I'm not setting up in a car to do a podcast. So other than that, we will have the post-game show. Again, thank you all. You guys are the best. We appreciate your support and listening and taking part in the whole thing. So much love.
Thank you guys.